It's a beautiful day in the welding hood. We got a lot of stuff going on right now. Now I'm doing something that is totally different. Haven't done this before, which is like, I don't know, vlogging. I'm working on a build right now, and some of you guys on social media have seen this build, and some of you guys have been following along, but you guys on YouTube and stuff have not. This is what I'm building right now. That is a Ford GT. And some of you guys know who that belongs to, but you probably don't know that I got it here to do a lot of work to it. Now, this is something that I hope you guys can learn from, and of course I'm doing this like on the fly because we have like no time to work on it or anything else like that. So this is kind of something that I hope you can understand when you get into working on stuff like this, and I'm going to try and run through it as best as I can without rambling too much, but here we go. My job essentially on this one is to update the turbos. We had larger frame turbos that were on here before, but the request is to switch out to smaller ones, which were already provided, and then retrofit it. Now, this is a UGR or Underground Racing turbo kit that was originally put on here, and my understanding is it's like 10, 11 plus years ago, right? A lot of things have changed in the past 10 or 11 years, right? Things like availability of parts, technology, all kinds of things, right? There's so much that has changed in this time frame, right? So adapting something from what was to what is now can get a little bit tricky. So case in point here, these, I built these last night for this new frame of turbo that we have here. Let me see if I can get all this in here. All right, so this new frame of turbo has to get adapted to this old exhaust, right? I sliced off the old flanges, built the new tube, welded all this up, and we're gonna use this exhaust. Now, the tricky part here, this is the flange from the other side. And if you look really carefully, it's a little bit warpy. And if you look on this side, it'll tell you the tail for sure. It was a little bit more than a blown gasket. It's wasted, right? When it comes to something like this, you have to make a decision, and you have to be able to tell your client or your customer, this is what we're facing, right? So after carefully looking it over, we decided that the best way to handle this, because it's going to take me so much time to revamp all of this and try to get it all to line up, right? The exhaust is on a set of rubber hangers, if you will, or rubber mounts somewhere in here. This steel that's holding it up is extremely flexible, and there's no flex in the system except for like the turbos, they can move around. You can see it's got a lot of play, and that's primarily because this system they use, you can look right down in there, it uses a slip fit system. That may affect performance. I don't know if it's a double slip or if it's a single slip, but that's how it moves around and shifts a little bit, which translates into all of this moving and shifting, which basically means that even if I nail this and get these dead on right where they're supposed to be, I'm going to be fighting getting this exhaust lined up and staying right where it's going to be. We're talking increased labor and time for a result that may not be what we're looking for. So, since this is so old, or it's a little dated, it's gone through its paces and stuff like that, the solution on this one is to completely redo the exhaust. And while that may not have been in the plans to redo the entire exhaust system, it offers the opportunity to update it. We'll get rid of this balance tube, we'll do a merge on these here, keep the exhaust tips lined up where they're supposed to be, and redesign a mounting system that allows the flex to happen in that system, but not in the exhaust system where it's going to be smacking the crap out of that bumper and stuff like that. So communicating that and talking to your customer or your client and explaining to them that this is probably a better idea to redo all this because technically it takes less time and you're almost guaranteed to make it work better than fighting the original one. Not to mention, we get a much better result. Longevity, everything else like that, and we can really fine tune it to exactly what he wants, which I'll let him explain on his videos what he wants to do with all this, right? So I've replaced the blow-off valves. Obviously, we want them noisy. I got to build intakes for it, exhaust, all that stuff, more whirly boy sounds, all the rest of the good stuff. So even though you guys haven't seen this video yet or anything else like that, it's still being shot. We're putting it all together about what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, and all the rest of that good stuff. I figured let's just jump ahead of time here so you can see what's going on and maybe learn something, because I'm not entirely sure if that's going to be in the video or not. So we'll see. But I hope you enjoyed it, and relatively soon we'll have it done. I got to get back to work though, so we'll catch up with y'all later.